Hi, welcome to A Punk But Toys. My name is Lawrence. Today I'm going to take a look at a HERO H.A.C.K.S. So I'm going to look at the Zorro HERO H.A.C.K.S. Now I've never had any of these. I've passed by them numerous times. And I've always wanted to see how they actually are. Today I decided to pick one up. So I'm quickly going to show you HERO H.A.C.K.S. So H.A.C.K.S stands for Highly Articulated Character Kit System. So I'm not sure if that means that things come off or what, but this is the Zorro figure. Been out for a little while. Again, I've seen him numerous times, and the H.A.C.K.S really, if you see them in your comic store, your toy store, they have Zorro line, they have the Phantom line, they do a zombie line, they have a lot of mythical characters like that sort. So it's a 4-inch character. I have nothing to compare it to, so I grabbed the last GI Joe Walmart 4-inch figure. I'm going to compare them to the articulation to that. Now, you can see on this one was $29. They usually range anywhere from $25 to $30. Now, when you get a smaller company like Boss Fight Studios, you're going to pay a little more. There's no way around it. They have way more. They have less resources to do, and probably have more overhead per person working there rather than a Hasbro, Mattel, different things like this. So, but the question is, are they worth it? Are they worth spending the $25 to $30? So we're going to crack one open. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to see how it works. And I picked up Zorro because I'm big into zombies. They have zombies, I guess, around. The mythical creatures are actually really cool. The sculpt looks really nice. The Phantom, I don't really know anything about that. But Zorro, I always liked Zorro. I actually really like the movie Zorro, so I'd grab it. So on the back here, gives you a little bio. Crazy, it's only in one language. It's crazy how all these small companies can do it, but Hasbro, they have to have 5 languages again. $1 billion company, they want everyone. So I get it. And then it has, it shows them a little action stand. So let's not waste any time. Let's crack this bad boy open. And let's see exactly how it looks. And we're going to do first impression because we're going to watch it as I do it. All right, so looking right at it here. Absolutely wonderful art. I mean, it looks really good. The figure looks good inside. 2 different heads. You can see there's at least one other hand back there. Comes with a whip and a sword and a hat. And as I showed you before on the back, his little bio talks all about who Don Diego is. And it tells you Boss Fight Studios who they are. So this is pretty cool. And you go through all this, and look, there is Kate McLeod. And if anyone watches the full force, you realize that is Chris McLeod's wife. So first thing first, Hasbro, when it comes to your HasLabs, Mattel's doing this for Mattel Creations. You have to do this. Please do this going forward with your O-rings and stuff. Make it just slide out like that. This is so wonderful. Now you can keep this if you want. You can keep the package. You can open the figure for as much as we're paying for something like that. I wish anything that is, a direct consumer from the manufacturer they would do. Let's see. So here it comes right out. And if there's any ties. So look, there's no ties at all holding him in. So that is really cool. Let's see. I really hate doing stuff like this. They make too much noise, but everything is popping off nice and easy. He does have 2 hands. I kind of figured he would have 2 hands and not just one, but you never know. He's got a whip. And then he has his HERO H.A.C.K.S stand, which is pretty cool. Has 4 different places for pegs. And it says HERO H.A.C.K.S and it tells you highly articulated character kit system. So it's smaller. Clearly takes up a smaller footprint than the GI Joe, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So I don't think we need huge stands. So first off, we'll take a look at his sword. And right off the bat, looks pretty nice, pretty straight, pretty shiny, that's for sure. I would assume this is paint. You have your black handle. It has a little bit of give, not too much. It's clearly, if you were to bend it, it's probably going to crease. And it almost looks like it's two different pieces here. That's not just one sculpt. So I do like that. They definitely put some time into it. Then you have his two hands. So here's one hand. It's an open hand. So that's pretty cool. You're going to show, so if he's, whipping the whip or fighting with the sword, you don't have to have two closed hands. There's the whip, and it is obviously curled up, as you can see, but it's soft enough that you can move it around all the way to the tip. It does not feel like it's going to break, so that's nice. His second head, so you can actually see his face. It looks really good. I mean, take my glasses off here and take a look, but the sculpt is really nice. The paint apps look really good. You got the pupils in his eyes. You can see the white. You can see his teeth. Got the nice little mustache. The hair has a nice texture to it. Now, this is really nice considering I just bought an O-ring Duke that the face is absolutely awful because they couldn't get the paint proper. And here's a small company that is able to do it properly. And it looks like here, so the peg actually will pop into the neck rather than there being a ball joint on the body. So it's kind of interesting. And so we'll take a look at the figure. And here he is with his mask on. And he's got the mask. His head kind of can look up and down. So that's good. This was just getting in the way. I guess I didn't look at the hat here. So the hat is soft, but not too soft. Kind of looks like Crocodile Dundee. And it looks like they put two little notches in it. So I'm assuming that will be made to hold it into place. So that holds it in place. It's not going to hold if you drop it like I just did. I'm not sure which is front and back, so. But either way, look at that. Stays on perfectly fine, but it's not a tight fit. I like that little system. Doesn't make it too hard. I think everyone maybe should think about doing that. So, let's take a look at this figure. So, you can pop his head off here. So yeah, so there's the ball joint right there that's going to peg into the neck, which I think that might actually work better than a lot of the companies do. The cape here has not only the strap to hold it on, but it has a peg, just like most back pieces. So let's throw this head on. That went on pretty nicely. And how does the hat go on here? So the hat goes on good here with him. Again, same thing. So take a look at this, see how the articulation is. So head goes down, up, side to side, obviously, and we can see that it comes off. Nice neck moving to the side. Actually kind of looks kind of creepy there. This is right out of the box, as you can see, so nothing's been heated up. So yeah, your shoulders can go way past T-point. It is a 90-degree right there, which is really nice. It looks like, let's see, you got the bicep swivel. Then you got the wrist that swivel. And it looks like this swivels up here at the glove, but I don't believe that it does. So same with on this one. No issue. Hands twist. And he has the more modern style. Not ab crunch, but where he's a rocker. I like this much better. It looks better than the ab crunch under normal circumstances. You can almost do the splits. I don't believe there can be any drop down hips. That would be crazy on something this size. There is no thigh swivel. So you got your knees, they're double jointed, but they are pinned. So you can get almost all the way to kicking his butt. He's got an ankle rocker ball here. So it's going to shift back and forth. Again, as you can see, no problems whatsoever. It's got a little holster here for his sword. Ooh, that's actually kind of sharp. I just poked myself. You know what this thing reminds me of? Those martini swords that you would get, and as a kid you'd always want to play with and snap your O-ring figures thumbs right off. So, all right. So, see how the hands come off? And so that popped off fairly easily. And this is not a trigger finger, just a regular old thumb wrestling hand. And you can see the little notches there. So it's going to go in nice and tight without any issues. So there you go. So I do think that this is actually two different parts, but I don't think it's going to shift back and forth. And how hard is it to get this in? These hands are actually fairly, hands like this are normally pretty easy to just kind of open up. Get the hand inside that sword, and there he holds it. And look at that, I stood him up perfectly fine, no problem. First try. So I can tell you right off the bat, it doesn't actually need the stand. All right. Probably get him in some other types of poses because he does have the ankle rockers here. So right there, no issues. Stands a nice little touch. Let's pop this off. I like the masthead. All right. So put them back together here. So this isn't always the easiest here because the ball kind of moved out of position. All right. And so the whip should actually be really easy to get in because it also has a strap there that you'd wrap around your wrist. I think I'm going to try that right now. I think I would put this in an awkward position. Slide the sword right down there. And leave an open hand. And then throw the hat on him. And look at that. So, how well does the whole system work? They almost seem a little too big, but so I give you this stand, but so I gotta say I'm pretty disappointed with the stand here. So these ones are actually, all right, so these two stands are, so these two pegs are much longer, which I'm not sure why. So I'm assuming he's supposed to go on these smaller, man, you may need to warm this figure up. So I think it's gonna be my first complaint. So one of the things that I can tell you looking at this right off the bat is, if you see where the ball joint is, you have a very small amount of room to put the pole there. So anything that's around that long just is not going to fit properly. It's literally going to go right through. Even The small one, oh, let's see, my thumb is right in the way. Even the small one here, it's not going to fit. So that is a major failure, in my opinion. But again, I'm able to get this guy to stand, I think, without a problem. So I'm not overly concerned about that. Maybe might have to figure something out. So he's saying it's perfectly fine. So quickly, we'll take a look at this GI Joe figure. And as I showed you before, much smaller figure. I would say they feel about the same. You know, the GI Joe here, he's got the same articulation in the elbow, the wrist. He doesn't go up. Well, he goes up about the same. They both have the same ab crunch style. Now, the Hasbro does not have pins. It's pinless, but still the exact same. Still goes up a little. This one actually goes up a little bit more that we saw, but he's also thinner. So honestly, looking at these two, what is really noticeably different is the feet. So the feet on Stalker here, okay, they use a different type of system. So the peg can go all the way in. So I can try it here. So the peg can go in perfectly fine there. Matter of fact, this is too loose. It kind of just slides right down. So I wonder if I could even get him to go onto GI Joe. Yeah, and he's not going to work. So that's not going to work. But other than that, I think this figure is an outstanding figure. For my first look at a HACS, I think they do a really nice job. And when you're comparing it to a Hasbro 4-inch figure, I think they're very comparable. Now, this one was $13, but again, it's coming from a much larger company. And you're getting a line like Zorro or their own property that is something that's different that you're not going to get from Hasbro. So, let's be my first look at this HACS. It's weird to say them. I think they say villain hacks and then they say hero hacks, depending on it. So, anyway, I do like the way it looks. I mean, that paint, it looks really, really nice. There's not too many complaints. But he is all one color. He is essentially the Snake Eyes of, I would say, the hack. So maybe I should have picked up a guy that has more paint to take a look at. So, but he does have a little bit, not soft goods, but soft plastics. And the cape is fairly soft. So, all right, I'm going to wrap this up. All right, so let's wrap this up. That is our HERO H.A.C.K.S. Again, they are called hacks, I do believe, because when I was doing the video, it kind of dawned on me, and I remember seeing that when you see like Medusa and stuff, they say villain hacks. So I like the way that they do the hat, just that little system, just gonna hold it on. Again, my only complaint that I have is how the foot holes are for the pegs. They're just too small. First off, they're not wide enough to fit in, so you probably have to warm this up. It's the only thing I'd have to warm up so far, but as I showed you before, it's only going to go so deep into it. That's what she said. But it is one of those things where I'm not a huge fan of stands to begin with. I know some figures do need them, but when you get into 6-inch figures like Marvel Legends and stuff, if you really have a nice display, just use some sticky tack them down. It'll be good. Again, this looks nice. They give you a good amount of stuff. I do like the ball joint system here, so it pops onto the neck rather than your head popping down onto it. And these things are sometimes difficult to see here. The head looks wonderful. I mean, it really does. I think the paint app looks really good. And it's disappointing that I see Hasbro saw a $21 O-ring and the face is all jacked up. And they didn't care. They just pushed it out. And here you have the small company. And yeah, I'm paying more, but again, the overhead that they're paying their people and what they have to do, they don't have the same resources. So, I like that they give you a couple different hands. That's real nice. But $25 isn't bad. A lot of these new O-ring Kickstarters are going for 20, 25. I think they said they're going to be 26 when they hit BBTS. This running anywhere from 25 to 30 is a reasonable price. It looks really nice. And if you like zombies, they have a whole horde of zombies that you could do. If you like mythical creatures, if you like mythic legions, but maybe you don't want to spend the $55 on a mythic legions or $50, whatever it is, or you don't have the space, maybe you like the 4-inch. They have all these mythical creatures, and I do believe Boss Fight Studios and the Four Horsemen, I don't think they're one company. I think they're two of those companies that kind of work good together. And what I mean by that is people-wise. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Again, Hero Hacks. I love this idea, how the card goes on, it slides off. Mattel does it with their, not all of them, but a lot of the Mattel creations. Motu figures, Hasbro, please think about doing this when it comes to the HasLabs, because we're spending a lot of money and I want to open the figures, but also at the same time I want to have them carded if I actually want to hang them up and maybe display them like that, because sometimes knowing that there's only going to be 18,000 of these ever made, it's hard to kind of peel them off that card, but I'll be doing it. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. On the socials, Twitter, Instagram, A Punk with Toys, Facebook group, Punks with Toys. There will be a link in the description here that goes to that page. Also, it's going to ask you, hey, you know what? Watch this video. Take a look at, this, whatever it is. And like, follow. You know the drill. I don't know why I'm telling you. Just like, follow. It helps us out. Helps every content creator out. It makes us know that you appreciate what we're doing. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Have a wonderful night and happy toy hunting.